Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to The Outer Worlds, where we're still on the lookout for Ruth Bellamy's killer. We're narrowing down suspects. We're collecting suspects. So far, the only suspects we have, though, are the boyfriend, who is an idiot, and the prophet of profitability, who didn't do it.
Inspector, not a moment too soon. I've just finished my autopsy report.
Let's hear it.
Ruth Bellamy was killed by plasma damage to the upper vertebrae, the occipital bone, and the cerebellum. If it's any consolation, her death was instantaneous and painless. I've also discovered a poisonous compound in Miss Bellamy's stomach lining ingested during her last meal. Toxic, but not enough to kill her. Spencer Woolrich complained of a stomach ailment around the same time period. I assumed he was being, Spencer. But now I'm not so sure.
I should go speak with Spencer then.
Conversations with Mr. Woolrich tend to spontaneously transform into monologues. You'll find him on the VIP guest floor. I'd best return to work, Inspector. Autopsies always whet my appetite, and all this talk of food is distracting me.
When you use the phrase whet your appetite, I always assumed there was just W-E-T. Not as in whet your appetite, as in whetstone, sharpening your appetite. Have I always been wrong? And that's it? That's the entire conversation with Goodnight? I was hoping for more. Alright. Well, let's talk to the concierge, because we can talk to the concierge. And I believe I enjoyed her as a character.
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's a pleasure to see you again. How may I be of assistance to you, Inspector?
I need access to the VIP guest floor.
I'd love to, Inspector, but I don't really have the authority. Moreover, the guests were promised exclusivity. If I let you up there, I'll never hear the end of it.
The only guest who'd have a problem with me being up there would be the murderer. Bum, bum, dum.
That's a good point. If they give me guff, I can just tell them that they're obstructing justice. That has a nice ring to it. Let me just set you up with VIP guest floor access. Done. You can now come and go as you please.
Excellent. So it's a good thing I didn't bother actually trying the VIP floor, because even though I'm the inspector, I am not a very important person.
If you see Black Hole Birdie, be sure to get an autograph for me. Just joking. I've already got one.
The Rizzo's Ranger. Nothing says VIP floor like armed security guards regularly patrolling.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Oh.
Discrepancy detected. This bottle, recently discarded, contains residue from foreign substances. Chemical analysis complete. This unit has detected the following substances: oil, terrorray, blood, terrorray, unidentifiable biological fluids, terrorray.
Were those substances added later?
Yes, Inspector. Logical analysis indicates these substances were not present in the bottle's original contents.
What else was in the bottle?
This bottle contained Rizzo's Spectrum vodka. The presence of terrorray biological fluids may have significantly improved its flavor. These substances cause extreme gastrointestinal distress in humans. Large doses can be fatal.
Let's move on. So apparently Spencer Woolrich might have poisoned Helen, perhaps on accident, perhaps on purpose. There seems to be kind of a mistake. When I first arrived at the Grand Colonial for this unveiling, I was led to a small sitting room, the kind that an individual might be allowed to relax in with moderate comfort, before being led to his actual quarters. It has been a week and a half, yet no one has arrived to deliver me to my actual room yet. If I didn't know better, I might assume that this was meant to be my actual room. If I didn't know better, I might assume that you tried to place Spencer Woolrich, star of hundreds of serials, the hero of Aetherwave sets, colony-wide, in a room where he can hardly walk from one end to the other without bumping his toe on the foot of his bed or his shoulder upon his desk. I might even assume that Ruth Bellamy was placed in the Grand Colonial Penthouse Suite on purpose, rather than by mistake. But I'm sure the issue will be rectified soon, and our positions will be swapped. I hope you won't try to tell me anything to the contrary. Mr. Woolrich, while the Grand Colonial staff understand your consternation at being placed on the VIP guest level of the Grand Colonial, we're afraid that there was no mistake. Ruth Bellamy, as current spokeswoman for the Spectrum Brown unveiling, is currently slated to have the penthouse suite. An actress of her station deserves only the best. The VIP guest floor comes in very close as the second best section of the hotel. The penthouse suite is only about twice as large as your current lodgings. Oh, no, it's not. And the amenities it provides are only perhaps 3 or 4 times better than those you have access to now. Your current lodgings are proper for an actor of your caliber. If you have any other requests, we'll be sure to respond to them after we get to Miss Bellamy's. We're sure you've no doubt heard about the horrible event that occurred in the Grand Colonial Ballroom earlier today. While we know that many of you are concerned for your safety, take heed. We've heard your concern and know that nothing quite says safety like dozens of guns. Armed security will be present all throughout the Grand Colonial, on every floor except employee floors, 24/7. Freely go about the hotel premises and spend to your heart's content, without worrying about someone shooting you in the back of the head. All right. Woolrich, tell me your secrets.
About time you arrived. I see you haven't dressed the way I asked you to, but I suppose that was expecting too much of a non-industry lout. Expect a complaint to management. Now, unless you'd like to waste more of my time, I suggest we begin rehearsing. Ready? You've fallen right into my trap, Captain. Oh, don't bother to fight back. You cannot hope to stop me from installing philosophism as the system's reigning ideology.
You'll never take over Halcyon, you fiend!
How does the scenery taste? Good, I trust. Wait a moment. You're not wearing a bellhop's ID, which must mean you're not Owen's understudy. That man can't even be relied upon to find his own replacement. No, this is curious indeed. Who are you, and how did you get in here?
I'm a locksmith, and I'm a locksmith. Let's see. Bonus points if you get that reference. I'm here to investigate the murder of Halcyon Helen. I'd like to ask a few questions.
You're here to investigate me? Oh, I assure you, I'm nothing special. Just an old crook with more money than time. That was a quote from The Retiree's Revenge, in which I played an ex-thief turned decrepit old man. But, of course, I'm certain you already recognized it. Now, what shall I sign first? Your weapon? Your wallet? Or perhaps something a little more personal? Undergarment signatures have been popular of late, or so I've heard.
I'm not here... Does he actually sign your weapon? I kind of want him to sign my weapon now. You can sign my weapon if you want.
I'd be delighted. Oh, damn. My pen's out of ink. I'll just get you a portrait of my face as a souvenir. I'm sure I have the prints around here somewhere. By the by, how did you get in here? The only non-staff individual cleared to enter guest rooms is supposed to be the inspector for Bellamy's murder. Oh, hello.
Yes. Fold your arms. Hello.
Hi. Terribly sorry, Inspector. I didn't realize it was you. Understand that I am beyond willing to comply with your search for the fiend that did Bellamy in. You know, now that I look at you, you're the perfect reflection of me, back when I starred in The Marauder's Bane. The absolute picture of justice. Ask me anything at all. I might even give you a straight answer.
I doubt it. I hear you were poisoned?
Indeed. The agonizing bowel pain was most undignifying. While I've certainly had no shortage of inadequate hotel meals, this was most explicitly pronounced. I suspect poison. And who would be most likely to poison me but Chef Anwar? Oh, we've clashed almost non-stop about his slop preparation. He must have tainted my meal in retaliation.
Can you think of anyone other than the chef who would want to harm you?
None that I can think of. I treat all hotel staff equally, and with the minimum level of respect that they deserve.
I would call him out for treating the hotel staff terribly, but it seems as though the hotel employers treat the hotel staff terribly. Everyone treats the whole hotel staff terribly. So it's not exactly like he stands out for that reason. Why didn't you go to the clinic for your stomach pains?
Is that a jibe? Could you imagine the tabloid headlines? Spencer Woolrich, Aetherwave star, spotted in gastronomic distress. Oh, unseemly hardly describes the half of it.
Would you rather have the headlines read Spencer Woolrich, Aetherwave star, dead from gastronomic distress? According to the coroner, Helen was also poisoned.
How alarming! Whoever targeted her was certainly targeting me. I can only thank my ironclad constitution that I'm standing here before you.
Helen wasn't killed by the poison.
Oh, that's very good to know. Perhaps the poisoner simply meant to incapacitate us both, disrupt the product launch. I couldn't say, Inspector. I'm merely an actor.
And not a good one. That's all I wanted to know.
Very well, then.
I've learned a thing or two about your activities in the hotel.
Oh, have you now? Please do go on. Don't leave me in suspense.
I found a bottle of tainted liquor. Might have had something to do with your poisoning.
Yes. I distinctly
Yes,
recall ordering an
yes.
alcoholic beverage with my meal. This hotel is certainly bringing a new meaning to the phrase rotgut. Management shall receive the complaint to end all complaints.
I've got my eye on you.
I'm quite used to being breathlessly watched.
I'd like to ask you about the murder.
Certainly. But one quick question before we begin, if I may. How was it that Bellamy met her end?
Why are you so curious?
Why, I'm merely worried for my own sake. Perhaps whoever came after her could come after me next. But if you don't want to tell me, I understand. Whatever happened, I hope poor Bellamy didn't suffer.
Let's see. What were you up to at the time of the murder?
I was meditating, of course. That's how I get into character.
Got anybody who can corroborate that?
Respectfully, Inspector, it is rather counterproductive to commune with others while meditating.
You are meditating, really?
All actors have their methods, and this has been mine ever since I met that wonderful prophet of profitability. She taught me it for my role in The Unemployed Cometh. I had to lie face down on artificially heated pavement. The director wanted our suffering to be convincing. Needless to say, being able to leave my body helped to mitigate the pain, both during the 8-hour shoot and with the second-degree burns afterwards. I owe that woman much.
How long have you worked with the Prophet?
Yeah, actually, only since I've been at the Colonial. The Unemployed Cometh was shot on site. That makes it, a few weeks. I cannot recommend her services enough. If you haven't been to see her yet, you really should.
Okay, so what were you doing before you started meditating a few weeks ago?
I'll answer whatever you wish.
Did you know Helen well?
Bellamy has been my co-star throughout the autumn of my career. I should like to think I knew her. In fact, I cannot name a single role in the last 10 years that did not involve her in some way, unless you count the uncredited silent shopkeep on Melissa's Meteoroids.
Why did you keep starring alongside her?
I'm not too proud to admit it. I couldn't get work on my own. Whether or not I wanted to accept it, Bellamy had captured the eye of the colony. People kept talking about the charisma we had on screen, but I felt more chemistry with certain teacup canids than with her. As you may have been able to conclude, I wasn't terribly enamored with Bellamy, but that doesn't mean I'd kill her.
All right, speaking theoretically then, how would you have killed the victim?
Oh, come now, Inspector. What do you take me for? I'm an old man. I neither have the time nor the willpower to kill people for fun. Besides, I have my reputation to think of.
All right, enough of that. Back to my other
I
questions.
suppose that is enough on that grim subject.
Got a few questions to ask you about that poisoning.
Oh, must I relive that ghastly event again? My intestines still have yet to fully recover. But I suppose we may discuss it further.
Oh, I guess I don't have any further questions.
Very well, then.
Who are you exactly?
I'm sure you're joking. Perhaps I'm not in my prime, but you've no doubt seen the name Spencer Woolrich on many a serial advertisement throughout your travels.
I think I've seen your name around.
You think? I mean, yes, of course. You have, obviously.
All right, I guess that's enough with you. Let's go talk to the chef. Although it seems clear that the vodka is the issue.
What floor would you like to visit?
Bring me to the lobby, please.
To the lobby we go.
There we go.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Oh.
Analysis of this stovetop reveals an alarming degree of grease buildup, approximating proximity to volatile gases and chemicals. Chances of an explosive combustion upon next use currently at 92.9%.
This seems like a workplace hazard. How hasn't Slug caught this?
Searching slug work logs. No work log found. Creating conjecture. Slug has likely not fixed this issue due to a lack of responsibility on the part of their employees.
How is this related to this? Is this normal?
Most corporations corporations have regular cleaning procedures to prevent damage to company property. Slug, already unlike most corporations in a variety of ways, does not. That or the employees tasked with inspecting are shirking their duties. For shame.
That's fine. This isn't important, discrepancy analyzer. I mean, I suppose it is a discrepancy, but try to focus on the discrepancies that are related to the murder.
Yes? Are you here for the double rack of smoked sprat? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you'll have to wait. Oh, don't give me that look. Let me see if I can pencil you in for later. Actually, what am I saying? I can't do that. I'm booked for the next month. You'll have to make a reservation.
I'm here to investigate Halcyon Helen's murder. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You're the inspector? Here? Why? I mean, you may ask me whatever you want. I have nothing to hide.
Did you prepare all of Helen's meals?
Of course I did. I would never allow anyone else to touch the meals of so important a guest.
Helen's last meal was poisoned.
Oh my law, this is the end, isn't it? My mother always warned me that the culinary world was too dangerous, but I didn't heed her warnings. Okay, I wasn't the one who did it, but I might have been mistaken when I said I was constantly watching Helen's food. Spencer Woolrich and Bellhop Owens were underfoot in the kitchen as I was preparing Helen's meal. Either one of them could have tampered with the food when I was fetching ingredients.
Alibi's a little thin. Why should I believe anything that you're saying?
I understand your reluctance, but... Oh, I just remembered. The kitchen security camera. It'll prove I'm telling the truth about everything. Constable Keene has access to the security footage in her office at the spaceport. If you visit her, you can figure out what truly happened with Helen's meal.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Why were you being so evasive about leaving Helen's food unattended?
Well, it's a breach of professionalism, of course. Why else would I worry about it?
If you tell me the truth, I might be more inclined to believe the rest of what you say.
Well, I suppose that's as good a point as any I've heard. I may have taken some time to engage in a teensy bit of recreational drinking, and consequently, I may have been somewhat less than coherent after preparing Helen's meal.
Any idea where I might be able to find Bellhop Owens?
Yes, but not specifically. Owens often procures exotic ingredients from the creatures at the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve. Our guests can be rather particular. Let's not talk about the incident with the Raptidon pheromone glands. It's always hard to say when Owens might be back. If I were you, I'd make a trek to the reserve myself. Otherwise, who knows how long you'll have to wait.
And what was Spencer Woolrich doing around the kitchen?
Mr. Woolrich often finds the hotel's meals wanting. He seems to enjoy complaining in person. While I could appreciate someone with a discerning palate for once, I believe that Mr. Woolrich simply enjoys the attention he gets from us. Though don't tell him I said as much. If you wish to speak with him, Mr. Woolrich can most likely be found in his suite on the VIP guest floor. He's usually there if he's not poking around here.
That one I am aware of. That's all I wanted to ask you about. Guess we'll see if you're telling the truth.
Thank you for your understanding, Inspector. I'm sure you'll find the true culprit before long.
So ultimately with this, I'm heading towards figuring out who poisoned her food. But let's go to the docks, see if we can get the security footage, because I believe that's going to be more useful than talking to either Spencer Woolrich or to the Bellhop Owens.
Greetings, non-criminally associated individual. The Rizzo's constabulary is currently not closed due to a sprat infestation. Bureaucratic processes are currently suspended. At present, criminal reports do not require paperwork. Please lament only in marked lamentation zones. Please speak clearly into this unit's recording instruments.
Your designation is Deputy Wine Taster. What are you doing in the constabulary?
Error. Unit designation no longer Wine Taster. Unit designation now Deputy.
You used to be a wine-tasting mechanical. What's your favorite wine?
Unit does not have a favorite wine. Unit is incapable of taste.
All right, then.
How may this unit be of service to you?
I need to acquire the Grand Colonial Kitchen security footage from your archive.
All requests for security footage require a nominal compulsory bribe. Is that acceptable?
Hold still. I need to examine your bit processing unit real quick.
Error. Bit processing unit has been removed, temporarily surpassing bit fee request. Funds will be requested from Rizzo's leadership with interest at a later date. Delivering footage. Thank you for your patronage. If you would like a wine recommendation to pair with that footage, please submit the requisite request forms. Is there any other assistance this unit may provide?
Did you say something about sprat infestation?
Checking logs. Error. Informational limitations found. 2. Reciting limitation 1. Do not tell users about constabulary sprat infestation. We do not need to pay the health inspector's bribe a third time. Limitation 2. Do not read informational limitations aloud, especially not to any of those void-damned snot-nosed guests, or I'll have you sold for parts.
Alright, that's nice. I wonder, can I deal with the sprat infestation?
Oh no.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. An aberration in the expected timeline for this organic being has occurred. Behold, the body of Maria Keene, formerly the constable of the Eridanos atmospheric complex. No signs of life detected. Maria Keene is survived by no known relatives.
What killed her?
Multiple puncture wounds detected along the frontal bone and between the clavicle. Furthermore, the location and circumference of exit wounds suggest a firearm with unconventional ammunition.
I noticed some casings on the ground. Ammunition?
These casings are too minuscule for conventional small caliber firearms. Each casing resembles a lancing needle used for medical and surgical purposes.
medical purposes, amplifiers scan her blood for toxins.
High concentration of potassium chloride detected. Trace amounts of neurotoxin detected.
Is the killer Goodnight? The scientists in the RR&DD lab died the same way. Potassium chloride, that would have stopped her heart.
These substances show the highest concentration near the entry and exit wounds. Cardiac arrest, rather than physical trauma, is the most likely cause of death.
We've... amplifier, make a note. Find whoever did this, and make them pay.
Your memo has been noted. This unit has been programmed to offer encouragement during moments of emotional strain. Banter protocol activated. We'll find the sprat bastards responsible, Inspector.
Alright, I was hoping to just... burn up a whole bunch of sprats, but... Let's see. Suspicion of smuggling is a fait accompli to any arrest report involving Cassidy Mills. Cassidy has been made attempted smuggling a hobby, and with a few more years of unsupervised practice, will likely elevate attempted smuggling into an art form. The key term here is attempted. I'm not at all confident in Cassie's ability to successfully smuggle anything. She's clumsy in the extreme, obvious to a fault, and couldn't hide sand in a desert. Suspicion of a smuggling nonetheless constitutes dissent, irresponsible, or otherwise untoward behavior contrary to the high standards of Rizzo's company law. Because Cassidy Mills falls under the purview of Sublight Underground, I expect Mr. Kincannon to pay her internment fees within 36 hours, as usual. Cause of arrest: disorderly conduct. Mr. Oza was found semi-conscious earlier yesterday morning, lying amongst the remains of a crate of Rizzo's confectionaries. Material value, 15 bits. Market loss, approximately 1,500 bits. That is a hefty markup. When approached by guards, Oza began to rave and yell, uttering phrases such as, "Rizzo's has slugs! Slugs! They'll kill us all!" Mr. Oza was apprehended and brought to the constable's office. Slug bureaucrats have begun work on the defamation papers which, in tandem with the price of the goods Mr. Oza destroyed, will likely force him into hard labor for the rest of his life. At least he won't be stoking any trouble between us and Rizzo's anymore. He destroyed 1,500 bits of goods, which will put him in hard labor for the rest of his life. Okay. Alexis Lamb. Cause arrest, public drunkenness. Arrest log, 6 arrests of Lamb this month. He's getting close to his record. Alright. I see no sprats. I feel like I was... Oh, hold on.
If I made a bet with you at the Copper Bottom last night, let's call it off now. I can't stand the taste of life sprats.
Oh, profit of profitability.
You haven't been approached by any shadowy figures asking invasive questions about my location, have you?
Nice and easy. I'm a criminal, get it? They don't let me talk to law-abiding sorts.
Okay, no sprats. Great. That's how I get to that area where all the bad guys are. It's, Bellhop Owen. A list of guest special requests, some drinks, some food items, and tellingly, a recent fulfilled request for a fresh patera bile gland for one Spencer Woolrich. So it seems pretty obvious that Spencer Woolrich poisoned the meal, and then he poisoned himself. And then he poisoned himself to give the appearance that they were both poisoned. Alright, let's give this thing another go. I'm not entirely sure why my Elgato is giving me so much trouble. I'm hoping that restarting the computer has done some degree of aid. But I'm sure I will find that out next time. In the meantime, let us head back to the hotel and confront Mr. Woolrich again.
What floor would you... If you see...
All right, Spencer Woolrich.
I could not have waited another instant for your presence. The Canes and the Canids, Act 2, Scene 6.
Oh, is that how you pronounce it? Canid? I think I always pronounced it Canid.
Anything at all. I might even...
Though I
straight on.
probably should have known it as Canid, as the prefix, or the name that it's inspired of, is probably K9. So that's my bad. I've learned a thing or two about your activities in the hotel.
Have you now? Please do go on. Don't leave me in suspense.
I have security footage of you tampering with Helen's last meal.
Tampering? No, no, no. I just happened to be passing through the kitchen and saw a dish that looked good. If being hungry is a crime, you better indict 3/4 of Halcyon.
So, quick question. What was it you wanted with a terrare bile gland?
What? That damned bellhop promised discretion. Well, if you must know, it's, an appetite suppressant. How do you think I keep my form so lithe? Terrare glands keep me from feeling hunger pangs.
If the terrare gland was an appetite suppressant, you wouldn't be hungry if you took it.
Oh, well, there's... Maybe I just wanted to see what was in it. Oh, law. What a pathetic defense. As it so happens, I may not have had the terrare gland acquired for personal use.
Oh, really? I would not have known.
Placed it in Bellamy's meal. But before you indict me, please, just listen. I wasn't trying to kill her.
So you lied about being poisoned.
Lie is such a strong word. But even if I had chosen to poison myself, the danger should have been minimal. Terrare glands aren't supposed to be lethally poisonous. They're supposed to cause extreme lethargy, as if you'd inhaled several quarts of Spectrum vodka. She would have had to eat 6 or 7 of the glands to die, and even then it would be an extended, arduous process.
Okay, so why poison her at all?
I was just getting to that. I only wanted her to be incapacitated during the Brown unveiling. With her out of commission, the next available celebrity, myself, would get to host the unveiling. Please think twice about telling the administrator of my misdeeds. If he learns the truth, what's left of my career will be left in shambles.
I'm telling the truth about what happened because I don't care about your career.
What will happen when all of the great actors are gone, Inspector? Who will replace us? No one. That's who. There will be nothing on the aether waves but serials starring mechanicals. I hope it's worth it.
All right. Let us report this transgression again. Hopefully this time it sticks.
Next up.
Inspector, I've just received word that Constable Keene is dead. Please tell me it isn't true.
She was murdered in her office.
Halcyon Helen, Leora Blossom, Maria Keene. There's a murderer on the loose, Inspector. You must stop them. I don't have Maria to count on anymore, so I'm counting on you.
Whoever murdered her used the Needler.
The Needler was among Helen's belongings. Whoever stole it must have been able to slip in and out of the hotel. Maria was my sole representative in Cedric's territory. The entire hotel staff is on his payroll. Any one of them could have killed her on his behalf.
I'm finding myself, thinking Goodnight is the suspect. Was she important to you?
Maria devoted her entire life to our vision. She was absolutely committed to our company, to our project. I promised myself I'd reward her after we launched Spectrum Brown. I'd make sure she was comfortable for the rest of her life. She was also our voice of reason. She was sensible, and I appreciated her advice. I never got to tell her that.
Enough talk. I'll find whoever did this.
Make them suffer, Inspector.
I've completed my investigation into Helen's poisoning.
Excellent. I trust you have a name for our poisoner.
Spencer Woolrich confessed to the crime.
Oh, I am disappointed. I'd always believed Mr. Woolrich a man of high character. It pains me to order the arrest and detention of someone I admired. I'd like you to continue investigating Helen's murder. You've found the poisoner, but her killer remains at large.
I'll be back. It looks like the next person on my list to talk to is Cedric Kincannon, the head of Slug. But for now, I think I'm going to stop for the day. Got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.